So, this is the hard part. Just sitting down and really unpacking what all of this has been for me. I just want to start by thanking God and giving gratitude and expressing humility for the opportunity to share this experience. I thought that I needed some help. I kept saying to myself, I feel like I'm going crazy. I need to go to a psych ward. I need to go admit myself. I want to be in a straitjacket. And then I took a step back and kind of took myself seriously. Why would I say something like that? I'm saying things like that because I needed some help. I needed some outside opinions. This documentary is about why I sought treatment at a behavioral health center, the things that I learned, my experience there, and the way that I have decided to live my life after leaving that behavioral health center. My hope and my desire is that it uplifts other people and encourages them to realize that you have the tools to make yourself healthy. You deserve to live a healthy life. We are all capable human beings, deserving of love, of respect from ourselves and from other people. I was called to be a vessel by God to share my experience at the Behavioral Health Center. My name is Robin Evans. I am a senior at Howard University. I am a photographer, a photojournalist, a videographer, a vessel, a child of God, a light, and I have struggled with mental health issues for a few years now, probably since 2018 or 2019. I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and major depressive disorder. I take medication that is anti-anxiety, antidepressant, and anti-OCD medication. I've been on medication for about a year now, and I recently sought treatment at Crestwind Behavioral Health Center in Memphis, Tennessee. Why did I go to a center? My fall semester of my senior year, I had a very busy semester. I was very involved on campus at Howard with planning a talent show, running student council, being a senior, trying to start my photography business, and daily life, and honestly some substance abuse issues. I smoked a lot of weed. I drank more than socially. I drank at home alone. I began to not be able to cope with all of the things that I was dealing with. I found myself not going to my classes. I found myself not doing my homework, not responding to text messages. I would be depressed in my bed all day. I actually failed 3 of my classes last semester, and I'm having to retake those. By the grace of God, I will be graduating on time. That is a lot to get off my chest. I went to a behavioral health center because I felt like my priorities were way out of whack. I felt like I wasn't doing the things that were good for me, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't turn my life around. I felt like I was really losing my mind. I felt like I needed to go get treatment. Like I continued to say I wanted to go to a psych ward. I wanted to be admitted. I felt like I was going crazy. We didn't know what it was going to be like. We didn't know if it was going to be something where I needed to go admit myself and like I would be staying there. I just knew that I needed help. So whatever the doctors told me I needed to do, I was in a position where that's what I was going to do. When I went home for winter break, I went to get an assessment at the center, and they kind of asked me a bunch of questions. They asked me about my mental health, the type of medication I was taking. I took a lot of different surveys and questionnaires about how often I experienced mental health issues. My scores were really high. The questions that I was answering, do you find yourself feeling hopeless? My answer would be most days. And it had been most days for a long time. I was putting on this facade that I was not doing as poorly as I was, but I was really struggling to feel like my life was having a meaningful impact and I was doing the things that I felt like I was supposed to be doing. It was pretty cool. When I went, they assessed me and they didn't admit me. I've never had any suicidal thoughts or ideations, I thank God. I'll take that back. I have had suicidal ideations, and suicidal ideations is kind of imagining that we're not here anymore or that you're not here anymore. So I've had experiences where I just wish that like my life wasn't so hard. I wish that I just didn't have to do anything, that I was not here. But I've never made any attempts to try and harm myself. I've never made any attempts to try to take my own life. I've never made a plan. I've never thought about harming myself in any way. So they didn't see fit for me to be admitted overnight for a full hospitalization, but they offered me two options. I could be partially hospitalized, or I could do like an outpatient program. I decided to go with the partial hospitalization, which meant I went to this behavioral health center from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, and it was a 2-week program, and that was followed by another 2-week program in the outpatient center where I would attend half-day sessions. So I would go from 8:30 to 12 and do group therapy. So I was partially hospitalized. Today is my first day at Crestwind Behavioral Health. I can't lie, I'm pretty nervous. I'm a little shaky about it. I don't know if you can tell. I need to figure out what's going on in my mind. I need to get my head back on straight. I'm trying to go get this depression under control, this OCD. So this is day 1 before. Every morning I went in, they took my phone. I sat down. I brought my journal with me. It says grin and bear it, and it has a bunch of bears on it. You have to keep moving forward. Life gets really hard, it gets really low, but I'm 21 years old and I have a lot of life left to live. There are a lot of things left for me to do. So, I'm not at the center today, I'm at the gyno. I'm getting my next one on birth control implant removed today because I think it's also making me depressed. So, yeah, getting that taken out right now. About to saddle up. Goddamn. And just like that, I am not on birth control. Hopefully not as depressed. Hey everybody, checking in. It's my second day at Crestwind Behavioral Health. As y'all know, I'm like sneak vlogging, or maybe y'all don't know, but I'm sneak vlogging. So I'm in the bathroom, it's my day 2. Got about 30 minutes until group starts. I'm gonna get some coffee, have some breakfast, take my meds. So yeah, I'll show you guys the coffee setup. Coffee setup, having myself a nice cup of black coffee, double cupped up, restroom key. Okay, y'all, this is where we have our group sessions. I would go into group therapy and process. I would talk about whatever was heavy on me, whatever was weighing me down. We would talk for an hour. I would hear perspectives of other people in group. There are a variety of people in there. People who had schizophrenia, people who had manic bipolar disorder, people who were grieving, people who had alcoholism, other people with anxiety and depression. And we all just kind of shared our experiences and provided a space for one another to like be empathetic and be listening ears. A little anxious. Our group rotates every week or every day, depending on who comes to group therapy. And today's group is making me I'm fidgeting. You already know what it is. It's your girl, Robin, Yeah, I had a little breakdown. I did. And that was a really beautiful thing because although I have a lot of reservations about opening up to everybody, that taught me that while we're all very different, we all come from different backgrounds, we are all the same. We all go through hardships and we are all the same. There is a oneness in mental health issues and in being human. We all experience similar things. I like to get dressed when I go up there because it makes me feel like I'm not going to a behavioral center, like I'm going out for the day. Today was a treatment day for me. Today was my 8th day at Crestwind. I'm getting medication management, which I'm really grateful about. And I've been really positive and uplifted most of the process. And I still feel generally positive and uplifted, but I am recognizing that today although I am making progress, I'm still feeling really anxious. One of the big things that I wanted to get treatment for was my hand tremor. My hand kind of like fidgets and shakes really intensely, but like very discreetly. And it's a frustrating manifestation of my anxiety. So still working on that. I'm going to meet with a primary care physician to make sure it's not something neurological. But the center is helping me to get my mind right. I feel like I'm doing better at setting boundaries. I'm doing better at being honest with myself, practicing realism, realizing what it's going to take for me to be successful. And that's honestly all I could have asked for and hoped for. It has felt like a little bit of a break, which I'm also very grateful for. So I am in a little bit of a sentimental mood about the whole situation. It's a rainy day here at Crestwind Behavioral Health Hospital. I just got out and I had a revelation. The devil, the spirits of evil in this world, the forces of nature that are bad, has tried to convince me that I am crazy, that I am not of sound mind and sound spirit and sound decision making, of sound thought. God be with me. My thoughts are sound, my mind is sound, my spirit is sound. And it is sound to the point where popular culture, societal norms, the communities that I exist in have allowed me to believe that I am not of sound mind and spirit. I was raised to know what is good and bad, what is right and wrong. I know those things. Do not let anyone confuse you about what is good for you and what is not, about what is right and what is wrong, about what is appropriate to say and what is not appropriate to say. I am of sound mind, sound body, and sound spirit. And I am done allowing people to make me feel like I am not. I really think that as a culture, we need to take a step back and think about the things that we normalize, the things that we popularize, the things that we glamorize. Are we glamorizing people truly taking care of themselves? Are we glamorizing people setting boundaries for what's appropriate? Are we glamorizing toxicity? Are we glamorizing talking about people? Are we glamorizing being flashy? Are we glamorizing a standard of status, being better than others? Those things are not good for your spirit. And I think that those things have been to the detriment of my spirit for a long time. And I am breaking free of those curses. And I empower you all to break yourselves free of those curses too. While it may not be traditional, while it may seem unorthodox, while it may seem like I'm not playing into what our community, what our world around us, what America has going on, I am so done with treating myself poorly for other people's sake. We all fall short of the glory of God. We all are striving to be better. Like, stop thinking that you're better than other people. That perpetuates so much hurt and anger in this world. And make the decisions that you know are right for you. Period. No more excuses. Hello, everyone. So today is Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. It's my 11th or 10th or 11th. It's 11 day at Crestwind. Partially hospitalized. I'm meant to be discharged tomorrow, so that's really exciting. I'm currently on my break. I'm feeling a lot healthier. I'm feeling a lot lighter. Feeling like I'm not carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders because I'm only carrying the weight of me, and I don't weigh as much as the world does. So I just thank God. Looking forward to having some structure in my life without this being what's providing the structure, because I know that I'm capable of doing that. So all is well. It's my last day. It's my last day. It's my last day. How do I feel now? I feel restored. I feel like I recognize that healing is an ongoing journey. I feel more disciplined. I feel more structured. I've learned a lot of things about like getting myself in order, about practicing honesty and realism with myself. I can't lie to myself. When I lie to myself, it makes me anxious. So I have a responsibility to myself and to God, to the divine creator, that I have to live in my truth. I have to be honest with myself. I have to be expressive because that's who I am. And that is what brings me peace. I recognize that healing is an ongoing thing. So I still do have my struggles. I still have days where I wake up and I'm sad and I can't explain why. But I stick to my routines. And that is one thing that I'm extremely grateful for. I have discipline. One thing I do feel like I learned is to practice some real honesty and realism with myself. I had really poor habits. I didn't have any structure. I didn't have any desire to create structure. So I learned to take better care of myself. I learned that if I want to survive my depression, I have to be really mindful and intentional about fighting for my life and being a warrior in my own mental health. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I learned. I wrote down some of my favorite lessons from treatment, and I want to talk about some of those things. It's important to remember that I define my success. It should not be in comparison to other people's success. When God closes the door, he opens a window. When one door closes, there is always another window or opportunity that's going to present itself. Don't be so scared, or I encourage you all not to be so scared that things will not work out. Things always work out. There's always endless opportunities for things to work out. So when God closes one door, recognize that that is for a purpose and nothing happens without intention, and that he will open another window. Depression is a family secret that everyone has, and our silence makes it work. And that is why I'm sitting in front of this camera. Depression is something that a lot of people experience. And honestly, I think that depression is something that everyone experiences at some point in their life. So just practicing honesty with ourselves about the fact that we all experience these things is extremely important, because that's how we develop better coping mechanisms. That's how we show up for one another, and that's how we get through it, to be transparent. The happy pills are making it so that taking care of myself doesn't make me sad. I struggled a lot with consistency in my medication before I went to the treatment center. But one thing I feel like I've learned is to practice better discipline when it comes to taking my medication. Taking my medication is not optional. Taking my medication is not something that I should feel like I need to do when I begin to feel sad. Taking my medication is an everyday thing. Because when I don't take it every day, I begin to feel worse than I did when I first began to take it. So it's really important that I take the medication so that I am not upset about taking care of myself. Those who can deal with depression develop resilience. So recognizing that, you have a mental health issue and doing something about it enables you to handle adversity. So just being honest with oneself about where you are with yourself and where you are with your peace and your happiness is going to enable you to have a more meaningful life. This will be hellish, but I will learn something from it. This was not an easy process. Sitting in front of this camera is not an easy thing to do, but it is something that I'm learning from, and going through your adversity rather than avoiding it is what's going to make you better. That's what's going to teach you something. Find and cling to joy. What are your tools? If your tools are reading, read more. If your tools are writing, write more. If your tool is to create, create more, because that is what's going to make you feel better. Don't run away from your tools. They're meant to make your experience easier. We have the pieces. We know how to make ourselves better. The missing link between knowing and doing is a conversation of self-worth. You know what you need to do to make yourself better. You know the things that are not good for you. You know the things that are good for you. And your decision to either do those things or not is a conversation about how you feel about yourself. So I was encouraged and challenged to sit down and think about how I felt about myself, do I feel good about myself, or am I pretending to feel good about myself? And once I realized that I was pretending to feel good about myself, I took the steps to begin to feel better about myself. I decided to take a more authentic approach to my social media presence. I began to care a little bit less about what I looked like and more about what I was thinking and saying to myself. And I feel like those things helped me improve my self-worth and understand that I am worthy of feeling good. I am worthy of being loved. I am worthy of having peace and happiness. And I began to do the things that I felt like were better for me. I realized that for me, smoking weed made me anxious. And I was pretending for a long time that it wasn't making me anxious, but it was. So I had to take a step back and realize that this is not something that is actually making me feel better, and fight my addiction and my substance abuse problem. I'm sober now, but it is hard to remember that, these previous coping mechanisms that I had, things that I thought were making me feel better, actually weren't making me feel better. Our emotions come from within us. If I feel guilt, it starts with me. Your feelings come from within you. No one is responsible for your feelings but you. No one can feel your sadness but you. And when we try to project our negative feelings, it's just a poor manifestation of how we're able to emotionally regulate. Your feelings start and end with you. When I create boundaries, I do not need to tell anyone. I just have to execute them. Your boundaries are about you. My boundaries are about me. If I make a boundary where I'm not going to tolerate people calling me out of my name, I don't have to tell everybody and announce that I'm no longer allowing people to call me out of my name. What I do need to do is practice realism with myself. And when someone does call me out of my name, nip that in the bud, or remove myself from that situation in that position. Your boundaries are about what you allow for yourself, not about your communication with anybody else. People, more than things, have to be restored. When you feel like there's something wrong, take the time to figure out what that problem is and restore yourself. How can I use my love languages to love myself? One thing I learned in treatment is that oftentimes we give out the things in love and to other people in our friendships, in our relationships, with our family, that we actually want to receive. So if you are constantly doing things for people, and for myself, I constantly do things for people. I want to be available to help this person. I want to be available to listen to that person. I want to be available to do this. I want to be available to do that. I want to be present for people. That is what I want for other people to do for me. So how can I use my love languages to love myself? And so just being present for myself, taking the time to set up my camera and film, because I know that talking these things out is going to make me feel better. Let me do something for myself. Let me take myself out. Let me go get my nails done. Let me make myself a really nice breakfast. Let me run myself a hot bath. I want those things done for me. And no one is going to do those things if I don't do those things for myself. So just realizing that your love languages, what you give out, is really what you want. And I want to do those things for myself. So I've begun to. What I give out is what I really want to receive. So I've begun to do the things that I want from other people for myself. Here are some tips. I'm just going to run down a list. Don't trauma dump. Practice better boundaries. Learn your triggers, list them out. Visualize yourself healthier than you are now. What would you be doing? Create SMART goals. SMART meaning specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Give any solution a chance. Create structure. Stop making excuses for bad habits. Understand your good and your bad coping mechanisms. Create goals for each quarter of the year. Be wary of pride. Be wary of love bombing. Be in the driver's seat. Notice warning signs and then make note and interrupt it. If I notice that I'm becoming triggered, take note of that, take note of what's triggering myself, and interrupt that, because I have the autonomy in my life. Another lesson: if I don't know what I want in love and in my relationships, I am susceptible to hurt. Allow people to help me. I am not attached to the things I do for others. There is a chemical and a philosophical cure for depression and anxiety. Find both of them. Depression is the flaw in love. We don't know love without the anticipation of loss. The truth sometimes lies. Folks with depression have delusional and inaccurate perceptions of reality. I have had to take a step back and look at a bird's eye view of my perception and realize where those things are flawed and not completely realistic. What makes me feel better is effectively a cure, whether that's sunshine, music, community, therapy, dance, reading. Those things are all cures. Our needs are our greatest assets. It's what we give out that we want most for ourselves. Learn to face the reality. Life does go on. The opposite of depression is vitality. Your life is vital on the days that you are most sad. This morning I woke up feeling pretty shitty. My head was hurting. I didn't want to film, although I said I was going to 2 days ago, 3 days ago, a week ago. But my life is vital on the days that I'm sad. So I decided to set my equipment up and get this shit done. Am I ready to do something? Am I ready to change? My advice is to liberate yourself. Free yourself from escapism. Stop doing the things that you know are not good for you and practice better habits. A couple of books that I've been reading. I read All About Love by Bell Hooks while I was in treatment, and it just really let me know that I had an issue with my self-love and that there were things to reconcile in my relationship with self to be able to participate more fully in my life and in my relationships with others. My dietitian at the treatment center suggested that I read Atomic Habits. So that's what I'm reading now. And it is Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, an Easy and Proven Way to Build Good Habits and Break Bad Ones by James Clear. So this one is a really good read. I feel like it's maintaining my ability to stay on track in addition to going to therapy, group therapy, and taking my medication. So my advice is to take action steps to improve your life. We are not our achievements. You have worth and value intrinsically based on the fact that you're alive and that you have experienced so much and made it to where you are now. You have value. I encourage everyone to take a step back from an achievement structured lifestyle and realize how impactful our lives are in our relationships with other people, in our interactions and ability to engage with others. Lead in love. Leave nothing behind but love. Love on people. Love on yourself. Love is the cure. Love is the cure. Literally, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And it's hard to be kind to others when you're not kind to yourself. And it's hard to be kind to yourself when you are kind to others, but you don't extend kindness to yourself. I know that's a bit of a paradox, but practice love. Practice discipline. Go to therapy, whether that's playing music, going to doctors, getting treatment if you feel like you need to, starting medication if you feel like you need to, talking to more people, dressing in a way that makes you feel good about yourself, eating good food, practicing a better relationship with your diet. If you like writing, try writing. If you don't like writing, still try writing. Express yourself. Figure out how to get those things that are in your mind out so that you can be liberated from it. Those are my tips and tricks. My next book that I'm reading is Bell Hooks' Communion. The Female Search for Love. So I'm continuing to learn how to love myself, learn how to engage in loving relationships with others, how to be present in my life and live in my truth. I'm very grateful to have the platform to begin to express how I've been feeling. I hope that this is something that adds light to your life. I hope that this is something that encourages you to realize that we are worthy of taking very good care of ourselves and expecting nothing less than that from the people that we engage with. I expect for the people in my life to treat me with the same respect, tenderness, kindness, appreciation, and love that I treat myself with. And anything less than that is not something that deserves my energy. So preserve your energy, preserve your peace. Do not overextend yourself in a way that is going to leave you hurt. One thing that I like to say is, do one thing that makes you feel good today and do one thing that challenges yourself. And I think that by the end of the day, you'll feel like you were very productive if you do one thing that makes you feel good and one thing that challenges yourself. So I think that is all that's on my heart for this video. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. I hope that it's something that was a learning experience. I hope that my truth is heard in this and that it has an impact. I just want to be a light. I want to be a vessel. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you, God, for this opportunity to share in this experience. Thank you for the opportunity to be a vessel used for you, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity to grow. I pray that this is something that brings me peace, and I continue to step in your will for my life. I continue to step into discipline. I continue to be obedient to the things that you are telling me. These things I pray in your Son, Jesus' name. It is so. Thank God. Amen. And Ashe.